Okay, guys, you are so welcome. Woo! This is the final Stand Up for Life rally, and we are so delighted to see so many people here today. My name is Katie Asco.
And my name is Peter Sands, and we're going to be your MCs for the next hour or so.
Okay, so just some quick announcements before we get started. We have the first aid tent. It's a blue tent towards the back on my left. We also have merchandise available from the LoveBoth van towards the back right. A donation only for merchandise today, but be as generous as you can, please. We also have stickers and badges being passed out throughout the crowd.
And let's not forget all the people joining us on social media. You will be taking pictures today, you will be taking videos. Please share those out on the social media and join the thousands around the country and around the world that are here with us virtually for the Rally for Life. Every day, momentum is growing around our country to keep the 8th Amendment and to protect the right to life for unborn babies. It is reflected in the opinion polls, it's reflected in social media, but it's also palpable, it's tangible. You can feel it on the doorsteps up and down our country. The public are waking up to the fact that repeal means abortion on demand and nothing else. There are groups canvassing in every county today, but not just today. They've been canvassing for weeks, they've been canvassing for months, and they're going to keep canvassing right up until we go to the polls on the 25th of May.
Woo! All right. And as you know, there are thousands of people all across Ireland, the length and breadth of our country, who are devoting their free time, who are giving up their evenings in order to make sure we keep our 8th Amendment. Woo! So if you are already volunteering with us, thank you so much for the work you do. Every moment over these next 13 days is so critical. If for whatever reason you have not been involved on a daily basis in the campaign yet, today is the day. We are asking you to commit all spare time, other than your essential jobs and your essential family commitments. Please do give everything you have over these next 13 days. And now, even when we're very busy, we're flat out in this campaign, it's important to come together on days like today in order to encourage one another, in order to learn from one another, and to welcome new people to our campaign. So we look forward to sharing with you today what the government does not want you to know, how extreme their proposal for abortion on demand in our country is. We're going to be hearing some incredible stories from people who have been affected by the 8th Amendment, from people whose lives have been saved by our 8th Amendment. Isn't that incredible?
And as Katie said, thank you so much for being here today. Folks, take a moment, look to your left, look around you. This is the last of a regional rally, and look how many people has turned out to save the 8th.
Woo!
And we have a very busy itinerary. Let's stay united. Let's stay focused on the goal at hand. This is a defining moment in our country. Let's treat it with the seriousness and the respect that it deserves and take nothing for granted. Over the next 13 days, let nothing discourage you. Let nothing knock you off course. We have 2 weeks to do absolutely everything we can. Are you up for that?
Yeah.
Are you up for that?
Yeah.
Katie, are you up for this?
I am so up for this.
It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our first speaker today. His name is Dr. Andrew O'Regan. From the Medical Alliance for the 8th, He is a GP from County Kerry and also a senior lecturer in general practice. And he has been working tirelessly over the past few weeks to highlight and show everyone around our country just how extreme this government's abortion proposal is. So it's with no further ado, please raise your voices and thank you for joining us, Dr. Andrew O'Regan.
A chuirde ar díonn sé mo chrí a bheith maiile á clia agus an éonach libhse a nómh. What a privilege for me to be here with you. And I reluctantly joined in this referendum campaign. I thought I was too busy with my job and my family, and my wife Siobhan was expecting a baby. But as the debate progressed, it became clear that healthcare was being pushed into a central issue. A tiny number of heartbreaking cases were being misrepresented and by people who should know better. Ireland, with the 8th Amendment, is among the safest countries in the world for a woman to be pregnant. Audits of death and sickness in pregnancy confirm this. The Irish Medical Council guidelines say that doctors must intervene to save a woman whose life is at risk, and this risk does not have to be imminent. The purpose of these rare but necessary interventions is to save the life of the mother, not to target the life of the baby. Although sadly, sometimes an intervention like this may lead to the death of the baby, it is never the intention. Such life-saving interventions are worlds apart from what is being proposed in the referendum on the 25th of May, which is the direct and intentional targeting of the baby. Yesterday, 5 of the country's most eminent obstetricians, all former chairmen of the Institute of Obstetrics and Gynecologists, issued a statement to us, the people of Ireland. And they said, "We are appalled by the comments of Dr. Rona O'Mahony and Dr. Peter Boylan. They continued to say their comments are simply not true and are a serious misrepresentation of the Irish health system. I am a GP in the Irish health system, and I have heard a litany of falsehoods and exaggerations designed to create a climate of panic, to distract from the reality of repeal, which is unrestricted abortion on demand. This debate is not about healthcare. Head 7 of Minister Harris's plan says that termination of pregnancy can be carried out for no specified reason up until 12 weeks. 50 years ago, Britain introduced abortion for the most rare and difficult cases only. Almost 9 million babies have been aborted since then. What Simon Harris is proposing is more extreme than this. It is clearly unrestricted abortion on demand. And Simon Harris has announced that he wants us GPs to lead out and deliver his plans with no consultation, no discussion. I heard about it on the news. GPs treat people for the course of their lifetimes. We manage mothers and their babies before and after pregnancy, and it is a pleasure to do so. Respect and compassion are the cornerstones of our medical practice. But if repeal happens, we will be forced to end the life of one of our patients. And to me, that is not acceptable. It is not healthcare. I don't know if you know this, but in Ireland, we have a crisis in recruiting GPs outside of our main cities. Simon Harris plans to impose abortion delivery on GP surgeries. How does he think this will affect the recruitment and retention of GPs? Calling abortion healthcare and telling us that it must be regulated is conjecture, nothing more. Despite repeated claims to the contrary, it has become crystal clear that it is possible within 12 weeks to know if a baby has Down syndrome or not. We have seen what happens to those babies in Britain and in other neighbouring countries. Repeal will mean abortion of Irish babies with Down syndrome in Irish clinics and in Irish hospitals, and shame on us if we let that happen. Science has progressed since the introduction of abortion in America and Britain. We now know about the humanity of the baby because it can be clearly seen on ultrasound well before 12 weeks. What the repeal campaign call pregnancy tissue is a little human with organs, facial features, and moving limbs. That baby is truly one of us. Let's show more compassion. Let's force the government to give these women and their babies the supports they deserve. Access to counselling, proper housing for homeless pregnant women in the streets of this city, social services, financial supports, and all of this extending after the pregnancy for lone parents and mothers of children with disability. To do this, we must vote no. Gormina Magov.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew O'Regan. Woo! I love it. Okay, just a few more quick announcements. We've been told there's a bit of an issue with volume, so we are trying to rectify that as soon as we can, and we'll be sure to shout extra loud for you guys. Also, if anybody was to sign up to volunteer, to canvass, to put up posters, to hand out leaflets, to do anything and everything in this campaign, you can text the words pro-life to 51444. So that's pro-life to 51444. Also, if there are any members of the Oireachtas present, if you could please make your way to the back of the stage, we would appreciate that. Okay, and next we're going to have our official photo for the rally. So if you have a banner, if you have anything in your hand, stick it right on up in the air. Beautiful! Beautiful. We're going to invite our photographers on stage. This will be going to local and national papers, so lots of smiles. Beautiful.
Woo!
All right, you guys are beautiful. Woo! Lovely. All right, that was great. Thank you so much for that. Our next speaker is Bernadette Goulding. She is someone who, for me, I find very, very inspirational. She's the director of Rachel's Vineyard Ireland Abortion Recovery Weekend and co-founder of WomenHurt.ie, a support group for women who have been through an abortion and regret their decision. She is wonderful, she is courageous, and she is awe-inspiring. So please give it up for Bernadette Goulding.
Wow. It's good to be here today. And you know, when I was walking up today up to here, to Merrion Square, I was making note of all the different repeal signs. And it really saddened me to see the signs there like compassion, women's health, shaming. They don't know the meaning of the word shaming. I can define shame. I was apologizing to the ground for walking on it after having my abortion. I felt so shamed. So I feel compassion for those women who are behind the repeal movement because they have been fed all the lies of abortion, just like I did back in the day. And you know, women don't talk as readily about their abortions as they do about other pregnancies. It simply doesn't lend itself to casual conversation. And so often, hundreds and thousands of women carry a secret wound in their heart that is reopened every time they hear a baby cry. Often they can't even say the word abortion. It causes so much distress. Today we also hear about that we must have compassion for the women who have to make that journey to England to have their abortions. Well, I didn't have to make that journey. I was actually living in England at the time. It's the same thing. The destination is the same. We're being told all the time about this terrible journey the women have to make. I denied my child of life, and the realization that my aborted child represented a branch of my family tree, not just my child's life, but the possibility of generations to come had ended. All my child's life experiences were taken away because of a choice. My choice. Freedom of choice is the buzzword today. It's not freedom, it's a prison. My abortion was done in a hospital in London. I was admitted to hospital suffering from dehydration. And when the doctor asked me how did I feel about my pregnancy, I said, I don't want to be pregnant, I'd rather kill myself. He didn't use the word abortion, he used the word termination. And you know, today, where hardly any journalists or politicians want to talk about what this abortion bill allows. Like abortion on demand up to 12 weeks for any reason. Abortion up to 6 months in certain cases. There's an unwillingness to be honest and clear on what repeal will look like. This is why you are so important. We can give people that vital information in these precious few days that are left before the referendum. I remember my doctor saying to me, it's a very simple procedure. It's just removing some cells, he said, some products of conception, and you'll be just fine afterwards. There was no mention of the risks to my mental or physical health. The word baby wasn't mentioned, and I didn't allow myself to think baby. And those who are pro-abortion are reluctant to say that women are hurt by abortion, because if they did, they'd have to acknowledge that a life was ended, and that would interfere with the political argument for abortion. Isn't it amazing how the language changes? When it's wanted, it's a baby. When it's not wanted, it's a fetus. It's a bunch of cells. After my abortion, I felt relief initially, but that was short-lived. I began to feel empty inside, like there was something missing. I had horrendous nightmares of this beautiful baby I was always trying to put back in my womb. I felt like I had a big A on my forehead. I had so much guilt, so much shame, and no self-esteem whatsoever. With abortion, you see, there's no focus for your grief. There's no body to bury. There's no gravesite to visit. There's no funeral. There's no sympathy cards. No one to help you grieve your loss. A woman must face it all alone and in isolation, which I did. It has often been suggested to me, that my guilt is because I'm Catholic. Well, in my work in abortion recovery, I've been to so many different countries like England, Scotland, Malta, the Faroe Islands, Hungary, Korea, Slovenia, South Africa. I have to tell you, the tears of the Catholic, the Protestant, the atheist are all the same. It's a universal experience. We're also being told today that it's a woman's issue. Oh, I'm sorry, it's also a man's issue. For every abortion, there's a man that is deeply wounded in his heart. I have met so many men who are deeply damaged by abortion. They suffer from depression, anxiety, addictions, broken relationships, broken marriages. Regret over an abortion that they paid for, an abortion that they had no control over, or an abortion that they forced their partner to have. For every abortion, there are grandparents, siblings, and of course the other victims of this great tragedy, or will be if this vote is yes, are the doctors and nurses who will have to do the dirty work. No country is perfect, but we have every reason to be proud of our pro-life laws here in Ireland. Many people are alive today because of the 8th Amendment. And I know now for sure that if I'd been living in Ireland at that time and had that precious time to reflect more deeply on my situation, that my child could be alive today. And for any woman or man out there who's hurting after abortion, I have to tell you, there is hope, there is healing, and we can bring good out of this terrible lie of abortion, of the destruction of our innocent unborn children. We cannot remain silent on this issue. We need to make our voices heard. You, the people, are important now in this last couple of weeks. Go out, speak to your friends, speak to your neighbours. Inform yourself and inform others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernadette, for those absolutely powerful words. Folks, we're now going to go from the stage out into you. It's my absolute pleasure to take the camera out into the crowd, and by the wonders of digital technology, we're going to hear from some of the people who've travelled the width and the breadth of the country to be here today. Let me introduce my roving reporter, Aisling Byrne.
Thanks so much, Peter. Today we've got a couple of people here in the crowd who travelled all the way to be here to protect the 8th. And our first person that we're going to speak to today is Yi. Yi is from Canada and she is a medical student studying here with the Royal College of Surgeons. Yi, we're so thankful that you're here today. Yi, how does Ireland compare with your own native country of Canada when it comes to abortion?
Well, Canada is kind of in the opposite situation that Ireland is. We have very, very liberal abortion laws. My own mum was born in a crisis pregnancy, and if somebody hadn't chosen life, I wouldn't be here, my family wouldn't be here, and I was abortable for all 9 months of my pregnancy, and I'm not happy that I wasn't given any choice. Had I been killed, I would have had no say in it. I've also been able to see the care that pregnant women receive in Ireland. There's so much medical information about women dying because of the 8th. It's absolutely not true. Women here get second to none medical care. And so I'd encourage everybody, please do what you can, act now. There's 2 weeks left. Do what you can to save the 8th because you might not get another chance.
Yi, thank you so much. The second person we're going to speak to today is Mary O'Byrne, and she has travelled all the way from Galway to be with us. Mary, you've been out canvassing flat out every single day. What has been the reception of people when you've encountered people on the streets?
Overwhelmingly positive. It really is a very positive experience. So the first thing I want to say to you is do not be afraid. Go and talk to people about this issue because they want to hear about it. We are meeting undecided voters every time we go out. There are people in the middle. They don't know which way to vote. They want to talk about it. They really do. And we don't want to be here on May 26th saying, if only I had had 10 more conversations. So get in touch today. If you haven't been out canvassing yet, it's a positive experience. Come with us. It'll be worth it.
Brilliant, thank you so much. And last by no means least, we've got Dr. Fiona here with us. She's travelled all the way from Cavan to be with us, so thank you so much. Dr. Fiona, do people really know what they're voting on?
Well, I'm a GP, as you said, and I don't think that GPs have any idea that no matter what their own attitude to the issue of abortion is, that they will have a role in some way. Now, that could be prescribing and administering abortion pills, or it could be transferring the care to a doctor who will. The patients don't realise this either. And if people knew what was in the bill, they would definitely be voting no on May the 25th.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fiona. Thanks so much to all our speakers in the crowd. Back up to you, Peter.
Thank you very much to you, Aisling, and thank you to the wonders of technology that we are able to get your voice heard and get your voice out there on this such an important issue for our country.
Okay, guys, are you ready for another incredible speaker? You might have seen her on the Late Late Show. Her name is Mary Kenny. She is an incredible mum and LoveBoth campaigner from Limerick. Mary is a true example of hope and life for all young mothers. So please give a very warm welcome to our own Mary Kenny.
Woo! Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Kenny, if you hadn't got that. On the 1st of April 2013, I found out that I was going to be a mother, and I could not have been more distraught. I was 19 in my second year of college at UL, and I had a part-time job in Duns. I was very happy with how things were in my life, and I thought nothing would change that, not even this pregnancy. My first thought was abortion. Soon after I found out I was pregnant, I looked up the British Pregnancy Advisory Service, which is more commonly known as BPAS, and decided that I would travel to England to end the life of my small baby. Soon after that, I realised my passport had expired and I became frantic. I ordered abortion pills online, but luckily enough, they never arrived. By this stage, I had told family and friends that I was pregnant, and most of them took it well. And I thought, well, that's so easy for you to say. Nobody is going to put a baby into your arms in 9 months and expect you to give up all your dreams in your whole life. And then something really incredible happened. I was on my work placement in college while this was going on. And one day in panic, I broke down to my colleague. I told her of my feelings of hopelessness. I told her of the pills not coming, of my passport being expired, and that I felt because I was going to be a young mother that my life was over. Straight away, she came away from her desk, and what she told me that day over a long lunch, I will never forget. She told me that she would have given anything to have been able to become pregnant, because even though she has a family of her own, all of her own children are adopted, and she said, you have no idea the amount of women that would give their right arm to be in the situation that you are in right now, and that you can do this. And at that moment in time, those small words of encouragement were all that I needed to hear. Soon after this, I had my first ultrasound scan. When I saw my beautiful baby kicking on the screen, just under 12 weeks gestation, the phrase, my body, my choice, was well and truly thrown out the window, because on that monitor, I saw fingers, I saw toes, I saw arms and legs, and I saw a baby growing inside of me. Her body was not my body. It never was. But for 9 beautiful months, I was her home. And on the 19th of November 2013, my Holly was born. And as I looked at her, I could not stand the thought that this was the child that I thought would ruin me, when instead she was the making of me. I continued with college, and after I had completed my degree, I went on to complete my master's, where I received a first-class honours. Becoming a young mother did not take my dreams from me. It gave me new ones, and it made me more ambitious than ever before. I never knew on the 19th of November that I would meet my best friend, and it is all because the 8th Amendment gave me time to think. Holly's life literally hung in the balance in those early stages of pregnancy. And if I only had to drive down the road to the nearest abortion clinic or to my GP, which is what the government is proposing, then I can almost certainly say that Holly would not be alive today. The 8th Amendment saved her life. There are so many others who are in a similar situation to me, who are thankful for the life and the love of the child that they have today. And they have the 8th Amendment to thank for that. We know that at least 100,000 lives have been saved by the 8th Amendment. This is the great untold story of our 8th Amendment, and we don't get to hear about it. That's 1 in 50 people, or the entire population of Kilkenny. And isn't it ironic then that the many people who are campaigning for repeal are alive, some of them are alive because of the 8th Amendment, and they are campaigning for its removal. Some people say, well, that's great for you, Mary, but the choice should be there for every woman who wants it. And my response is that it's not really a choice at all. Who goes into an abortion clinic feeling like they're exercising their right to choose? In my situation, all I needed was for one person to tell me that I could get through this. That's all it took for me to realise that I could do this. The pro-choice approach simply does not foster the kind of atmosphere or culture where a genuine space is kept open that respects both mother and baby. And you know what else? It isn't welcome in Ireland. Abortion supporting counselling agencies tell women that their unborn baby is nothing more than a clump of cells the last thing they do is encourage women to look at the ultrasound monitor to see the development of their baby before they decide to go through with the abortion. And yet, these are the same people who preach about choice and trusting women, while in the same breath they withhold the most basic information about the new and unique life growing inside of them. On the 25th of May, in exactly 13 days, not even 2 weeks, we will be asked to say yes or no to the following statement, quote, provision may be made by law for the regulation of termination of pregnancy, end quote. This asks us to hand our 8th Amendment in its entirety back to the government for them to do as they please with it. Let that sink in. From today, right up until the 25th of May, an entire generation is counting on you to talk to people about what they are voting on. It is not too late to get involved. It is never too late to get involved for the most important movement in our generation. Look around you here today. What if every person here was canvassing for 2 hours a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever you can manage? I guarantee you will help people to protect both mother and baby. They are waiting for us to speak to them at the doors. We only have 13 days left. Please don't let those days be lost to indecision and fear. On the 25th of May, an entire generation is counting on your no vote. They are counting on you to say no so that they may get a chance at life. We will be at that polling station because we were given life, because each of us is lucky enough to be here. And today I have to put a question to everyone here today. Do you ever sit back and think of how sad this debate really is? In our modern country, we are literally debating the intentional killing of the smallest people among us. The only difference between that gorgeous baby in the womb and any of us now is time. What will be determined? My most important message to everyone here today is, what kind of Ireland do you want to live in? An Ireland that offers real compassion and care no matter the situation, or an Ireland that sees abortion as a solution. For real compassion and care, we must vote no, because abortion cannot coexist with a compassionate and caring society, because one contradicts the other. We ought to fight with all we have in us for this Right to Life Amendment and celebrate it before it's too late, because we will never get a say on it again after the 25th of May. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mary. Okay, so this is our 6th regional rally. We've already had 5 of these rallies, and yet this rally, we have tens of thousands of you here today. Woo! That is incredible. There's a shot of you all. Look how beautiful you are. So just a few more quick announcements. If anybody has a shop window or a prominent location in a town or city where we can put up a building wrap or a large poster, can you please send an email to info@loveboth.ie, or you can contact the LoveBoth offices. It is so important that we have visibility over the next 2 weeks. Also, merchandise is available from the LoveBoth van at the back of the crowd to the right. It is donation only today. And please be sure to take the badges and the stickers from the stewards in the crowd.
And let's not forget, if you have a mobile phone in your pocket. Do you have a mobile phone in your pocket? Let's get taking pictures today. We need that visibility over the next 2 weeks. It's not even 2 weeks. It's only 13 days. So use the hashtag. Get it onto Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all the social media. Let your friends know how you're going to be voting in this referendum. We will share your tweet as well. LoveBoth, vote no hashtag, and 8th ref. In the next 2 weeks, it is so important that we do absolutely everything that we can to make sure that people vote no. So if you want to get involved, if you want to canvass, please sign up. Text 51444. Text at 51444. And do not be afraid to have those conversations. They will change minds. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to a young man. His name is Gavin. Gavin is a student. And after going viral this week, he is here today to share his personal story with us right here in the flesh. Please welcome Gavin Boyne.
Firstly, I'd like to take a moment to express a genuine and a heartfelt thank you to those in the crowd who campaigned for the 8th Amendment's insertion into the Constitution in 1983. Without your efforts, not only would the 8th Amendment not exist, but I would not be here today. I speak on behalf of all of those Irish men and women who are alive today because of your efforts to make Ireland a better and a more inclusive society where respect for one another starts in the womb. On the 6th of May, Dr. Peter Boylan launched the Together for Yes national campaign in Athlone. He described the 8th Amendment as a failed experiment, and in doing so, he has personally attacked every single person who is alive today as a result of the 8th Amendment. I am one of those people. On the 8th of March 1998, my mother gave birth to me at the age of 16. Several months before this, she was in England as per the request of her parents, and she was there to have an abortion. Given the circumstances of my conception, money being tight, my mother being extremely young, and the likelihood and actuality that my father would not be around, my grandparents had decided that the best thing to do would be to send my mother to England for an abortion. This was an immensely difficult and stressful time for both my grandparents and my mother. For 3 weeks, my grandparents deliberated on what exactly it was that they were doing, what they were forcing my mother to do. And it was in those 3 weeks that my grandparents concluded that ending my life was the wrong thing to do. What caused this deliberation in the first place was the fact that abortion was illegal in Ireland. This led them to ask why was it illegal, and what they found was the 8th Amendment, which indiscriminately recognises the humanity of every single unborn child. Having recognised that I was a unique human being, my grandparents could not, in good conscience, end my life. I am not the result of a failed experiment. I am alive today due to a constitutional provision, the 8th Amendment. And this amendment gives unborn children their only legal protection, the right to life. The 8th Amendment was designed to protect both mother and her unborn child, and it works. It's estimated that upwards of 100,000 people are alive today because of the 8th Amendment. It saves lives. It is deeply sad worrying, and frankly, it's offensive that Peter Boylan classes this life-saving amendment, which saved my life, as a failed experiment. Should myself and those other 100,000 people not be alive today, would that be his notion of a successful experiment? I'd like to think not. When someone like Peter Boylan makes comments like this, I don't think they realise the impact that they can have on someone like me. It isn't my intention to attack Dr. Boylan, but for someone like him to not only ignore, but to then deny the results of the Eighth Amendment and to brand it as a failed experiment is extremely hurtful and offensive to someone like me who owes their life to the Eighth Amendment. I think people like Peter Boylan need to be very careful when they make comments like that, and they need to realise the impact their words can have on people who are alive today because of the Eighth Amendment. I'd like to think that in 20 years there will be someone just like myself on a stage, not shaking as much, thanking us for our work and our contributions in saving the Eighth Amendment, thanking us for working day and night, for getting out of our comfort zones, for getting out and canvassing, for standing up for the Eighth Amendment and for future generations of Irish children. My name is Gavin Boyne. I'm 20 years old and I'm a student. I'm not someone's choice, nor am I the result of a failed experiment. I'm a unique human being with value, and the Eighth Amendment recognised this in 1998, and it continues to do so for thousands of unborn children today. Thank you.
His name is Gavin Boyne, he's 20, he's a student and he's a legend. Thank you, Gavin, for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it too much. I want to hear Gavin's story again, do you? We're going to hear it again. All the stories from today, folks, will be available on the LoveBoth Facebook page. So follow us. You'll get all of the best content. And please click that share button over the next 2 weeks. Look at all your beautiful faces up on screen all day. It's fantastic. We just love to see it. So we're going to go and get some close-ups of some more beautiful faces in the crowd. So we're going to go to our roving reporter, Aisling. Are you ready? Aisling, come in.
Hi, Peter. How are you? Okay, so we've got some more people here who have been just doing Trojan work for the LoveBoth campaign. We've got Roger and Una Mary here with us. Una Mary, you've been flat out on the streets of Dublin canvassing and getting the word out there and spreading the information. So how have people received the message that you've been giving to them?
Honestly, it's been really positive. So, I mean, there is a lot of misinformation out there, but once we get our main points across, for instance, the baby's development, so at 21 days, his or her heart is beating. At 12 weeks, he or she can suck his or her thumb. I mean, this is science, this is fact. And once people hear this, you know, hearts and minds are changed. That's the reality of the situation. So it's up to each one of us. Everyone has to get involved and talk to people that we meet on the streets, that we meet in shops, that we meet family, friends, and tell them, you know, what is involved in this legislation, why we should vote no. It is so important to stand up and protect life. And honestly, it's such a privilege for us to be able to stand and be a voice for the voiceless and the most... the people that are most under attack at the minute. So, thank you.
Thanks so much, Una Mary. Roger, you've also been out canvassing on the streets of the capital. What would you say to anyone who is yet undecided on how to vote in this referendum?
Hey, thanks, Aisling. I think the most important thing that we have to remember is just how extreme these proposals are. I mean, I've been out canvassing and leafleting over the last couple of weeks and months with so many different people. There are so many people out canvassing at the minute. It's great to see, but we're missing one canvasser, and that's you. But the one thing that's really working most of all, as well as the things that Una Mary was saying about, you know, the development of the child, is just how extreme these proposals are. I mean, abortion on demand up to 3 months. I mean, really, really liberal abortion laws up to 6 months, and abortion up to birth in certain circumstances as well. And that's just a start. And with the proposals that we'll be voting on specifically, the government will be able to change this at any moment. We won't ever get a say in our abortion laws again. So I really ask every single one of you, vote no and get out of campus.
Thanks so much, Roger. You heard that loud and clear. Now, you may all remember the very, very sad news that we all heard a couple of months ago when Dolores O'Riordan of the Cranberries passed away. We are so blessed today to have her mother Eileen here with us. And Eileen would like to share a very special message with you. Eileen, you're so welcome, and we are so thrilled to have you here with us. What would you like to say to everyone today?
I've just a very brief message. My daughter Dolores so loved children. She was completely opposed to abortion. All our family will be voting no on the 25th of May.
Thank you so, so much, Eileen. We're so thrilled that you could be here with us today. So, loud and clear from the audience, everybody, vote no on May 25th. Back to you, Peter.
And once again, on behalf of absolutely everyone here, thank you so much, Eileen, for coming and sharing your words of encouragement. Thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
One more announcement for today, because we do care about the environment as well. We've been asked to not let the balloons go up in the air. So if you're holding on to a balloon, keep holding on to it. You can bring it home, you can do what you like, but just don't let it go up in the air if that's okay.
Hold on tight.
So, next we're going to be introducing to the stage our politicians who are so brave to be here today. Woo! Woo! I'd like to welcome you on stage. These are our heroes of today. Thank you so much for all you guys are doing to keep our 8th Amendment. We appreciate them doing us. Woo! Woo! Thank you. Thank you.
And folks, now we turn to the wonders of technology. We'd like to share a short video with you from Irene. Irene credits the 8th Amendment for her daughter being alive today. Please orientate yourself so that you can see the screen and that you can hear this incredibly moving story.
I'm Irene. I came to Ireland from South Africa. 6 years ago, I got pregnant, but I wasn't ready for a baby. If I'd been living in any other country, I would have had an abortion. So I'm so glad I didn't. Ireland's 8th Amendment saved my daughter's life and mine. Now I could never imagine life without her. Please protect it. Save children like Isabel. Vote no.
Woo! And it is with no further ado, I'd like to introduce the spokesperson for the LoveBoth campaign, a lady who needs absolutely no introduction, and her name is Cora Sherlock.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Thank you so much for being here in such huge numbers. Let's give it everything we've got for the next fortnight to protect our 8th Amendment. A vote for repeal is a vote for one of the deadliest abortion laws ever proposed. Sadly, some people are still under the illusion that the government's proposal is restrictive. But I would urge anyone who thinks this to examine the evidence of Dr. Peter Thompson from Birmingham, who addressed the Oireachtas committee that proposed the referendum. Now, I'm not going to describe his testimony in graphic detail here today, but I will say that a vote for repeal would facilitate the barbaric procedures described in Dr. Thompson's testimony. Our Minister for Health, however, continues to mislead the public that this proposal is about healthcare. It is not about healthcare. The definition of healthcare in countries where abortion is legal has become corrupted. And the same thing would happen here if we repealed the Eighth Amendment. Genuine healthcare is about saving lives, not ending them. If the Eighth Amendment is removed from the Constitution on the 25th of May, then the government will unveil a GP-led abortion service, providing for unrestricted abortion on request in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. And doctors like Andrew, who just spoke, who were trained to protect lives, will suddenly be expected to facilitate the taking of innocent human life. If repeal happens, it will transform local GP practices in devastating ways. And as a group, GPs will be expected to routinely harm their unborn babies in the false name of choice. Not just harm them, but actually kill them. We can't let that happen, and we won't let that happen. The debate in Ireland has become so sanitised that some regard it as extreme to describe, even in the mildest way, what's actually being proposed. But voters are entitled to know what they're voting for if they vote for repeal. And it's certainly not restrictive abortion that they would be getting. Rather than concluding some unborn babies are unworthy of protection, we should be working instead to create a world worthy of them. On World Prematurity Day last November, there was an item on RTE's Morning Ireland featuring a consultant paediatric cardiologist explaining why there are more cases of complicated heart problems among babies in Ireland than in England, Scotland and Wales. When he was asked why there were more of those babies in Ireland, he said, "Because we don't have termination of pregnancy in Ireland, where in England, Scotland and Wales, those pregnancies would probably have been terminated." Just think about that. We would have ended those babies' lives rather than give them the great care that we currently give them in Ireland. It was one of those radio moments that stays with you. The Eighth Amendment has saved countless lives. We need to boldly speak up for it and defend it in the coming vital days. Because we know that Ireland would be a very different place without the Eighth Amendment. It would not be one for the better, and it is not one that we want to live in. We know that there will be lots of challenging moments over the next fortnight, but we will all stay united, truly united, to defend our Eighth Amendment. You know, in just 2 weeks' time, this referendum campaign will be over. And we will either be in a situation where we still have our Eighth Amendment, which has protected so many lives,
or we will be facing a new Ireland, an Ireland where abortion on demand is now accessible. That is unthinkable. I know you're not going to let it happen. So please, please, call around to your neighbours, those people you've been meaning to chat with. Visit the friends you can have a conversation with. Email your cousins. Phone your nearest and dearest. Tell whoever you have to tell. Just get the word out that the only way to protect our 8th Amendment and stop abortion on demand coming into Ireland is to vote no on the 25th of May. There could be just a handful of votes that could tip the balance in our favour. So let's make sure we do everything we can. And I want to thank you so much for everything you have done so far in this campaign. You are the most inspiring movement in Ireland ever. And well done for everything you have done. Keep it up for the next 2 weeks, and let's win on the 25th of May. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cora. Our next speaker is a mother of 4 boys, one of whom is Hugh. She founded Hugh's House, which is a home from home in Dublin for babies and children, some with life-limiting conditions. When Adie was in the hospital with her son, she saw other families having to sleep in their cars to be with their sick children. This inspired her to set up the charity Hugh's House, named after her son. So please give a warm welcome to Adie Stack.
I haven't written anything down, so I'm just going to speak from my heart. Everything that happens to us in our life makes us stronger or makes us determined to change the way that affected us. We hear a lot about hard cases. And many of the cases you hear about I've experienced in my life. I was sexually assaulted as a child. I did have delayed diagnosed septicemia on my second child in Galway, and a year later, Savita Halappanavar died through the same neglect. The hardest thing I've had to deal with has been the loss of our 3rd child, Hugh. It wasn't anybody's fault. Nobody did anything wrong. He just was destined for a short life. And through that experience, we saw that many families weren't getting the support that they needed while their children were in hospital, even if they were going home, or for like us, if it was just going to be a brief time together. This is not a sad story. This is actually how together we can lead the world. Because at the moment, what I see is that people are being told, you're restricting choice. That's wrong. We led the world on a smoking ban. That meant you couldn't smoke in a pub anymore, and the world followed us. Why do we have to lead the world down a way that means some people will live and some people will die? I don't understand it. I don't see the need for it. And what I want us to do as a country, and what a vote no says is, we can do better. We can actually lead the way in that if you're going to live for 100 seconds or 100 years, we have a country that's ready for you. I love going to the English market in Cork, but the day I was on the TV with the Queen, I only thought of this a few minutes ago, I barely recognised it because they'd pimped it. The world looked great. The English market looked amazing. And when a child is only going to come for maybe a few minutes, or for my son for 247 days, we just need to be ready to pimp the world for them. To say, it's going to be your joy will never have mortgage, your life will never have mortgage arrears. You will never have to fail a spelling test. all you will know is love and that you are part of our society and part of our family. We've heard that Ireland leads the way in maternal care. And I know, and no means we will lead the care from conception to when the time is up. And I want that in Vote No, our actions after this referendum turn to making a world-class healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adi. Next, we have Lorcan Price, barrister, who will be introducing Dr. Hayes.
Hello, everybody. At the front line of medical care, every day in our hospitals are the brave men and women who deliver life into this world. So many doctors have been put under pressure by certain loud voices in the media to come out and to support abortion. But I'm about to introduce a man who has delivered over 2,000 babies over the course of his career, and a man who is at the front line of medical care in this country and who has bravely come out to advocate to protect our 8th Amendment. It's my real pleasure to introduce consultant obstetrician Dr. Trevor Hayes.
I'm Dr. Trevor Hayes. I have never done a termination, and I never will. In my many years of medical practice, I have never been prevented by the 8th Amendment from doing everything necessary to fully care for women and to fully protect them in my practice. Any suggestion that Irish doctors cannot intervene to protect women is deliberately misinforming the Irish public and creating unnecessary fears. I have never gambled with the lives of my patient. I have never lost a mother. The 8th Amendment has never prevented me from doing my job to the best of my ability. I am very concerned that recent weeks have seen significant and untrue public statements about the practice of maternal health care in this country. No doctor doing their job properly would wait until there is an immediate and critical threat to a pregnant woman's life before acting to protect the woman. The 8th Amendment does not stop me from doing my job. It never has and never will. If a repeal were to happen, 99% of abortions would take place for any reason at all, or on, I suppose, mental health grounds. That's the reality, based on what's happened in other countries. But you wouldn't think it based on how the present debate is being conducted.
And Dr. Hayes, can I ask, do you find your job rewarding despite all that's going on at the moment?
I have a wonderful job. I witnessed the birth of a beautiful baby and a mother loving that baby. Eight years ago, I delivered a baby, a beautiful baby. We'll call her Trish. This baby had Down syndrome. This was not a funeral. This was not a tragedy. This was a joyful event, and I congratulated the parents. Every year, to that date, I get a picture, each milestone, each birthday of that baby. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trevor Hayes. Give it up!
Thank you, Dr. Hayes. A reminder to everyone here, thank you for coming, but you are not to go home empty-handed. There will be merchandise available from the LoveBoth van, which is just down here on my right. It is donation only all day. Also a reminder that Gillian and Sinead will be there, and they have leaflets for you to hand out on the Lewis and the Dart for the next 13 days, making sure as many people as possible hear our message. Folks, this is a regional rally, and look how many people have turned out. Your voice is very loud and it is very clear. So please, whenever you're leaving, we will leave in a patient manner because there's going to be a lot of people leaving through a few gates. Yeah. Also, going through the crowd, there are people with stickers and badges. Please take one and please be generous today. It's my pleasure to introduce a gentleman. Now, it's just one gentleman. He was meant to be joined by a lady called Sheila. But Sheila can't be here because guess where Sheila is? Sheila is out canvassing today. So we give it up right now for all those individuals who even today are still canvassing around the country and spreading the message about this extreme abortion law that our government is trying to bring into Ireland. Let me introduce you to a man who's a canvassing leader. He is a coordinator and he has his volunteers with him today. They have been out day and night on the doorsteps up and down the country encouraging people. As Roger said earlier, he's only missing one volunteer, and that volunteer is you. It is my pleasure to introduce JP.
Hey everyone. Come on up, team. So I want to talk to you just a little bit about the canvassing that's going on. Can you all hear me at the back? Good. I want everybody who's involved in canvassing or postering or leafleting or fundraising to stick up your hands. There are thousands of people getting out of their comfortable sitting room to spread the word that as a nation, we don't want our children killed in our maternity homes. You guys are inspiring because you're normal people. You're not slick salespeople. You'd rather not be doing this, but it's so important to you that you're getting out there. When you go door to door, you don't talk to the privileged elite that are trying to force this on us. You're talking to normal people. Normal people talking to normal people is making a huge difference. So you can hear me, I want to hear you. Is there anything more important in the next 2 weeks than fighting for life? Is there anything more noble than fighting for life? Those of you who didn't stick up your hands, how many of you would like to get involved now? Good. I hope you've got that text message and you're sending it in to us. If there are tens of thousands of people here, if every single one of you changes one person's mind in the next 2 weeks, we will definitely win. The length and the breadth of the country, we are finding more and more people are making up their minds. In the last week in particular, we saw far more people at the doorstep who were making up their minds, and more of them were making up their minds to vote no than to vote yes. We've got 2 weeks to get the rest of the undecided people to vote no. We need your help. It is very simple. You do not have to be slick. You do not have to be beautiful. All you have to do is ask people who are undecided, while they think abortion might be okay in hard cases, ask them, is it okay for you that in our country there will be unrestricted abortion of children, healthy, unhealthy, whatever? Ask them that question. What are many of them saying? So we need you out there having that conversation, asking people, do they really, really want unrestricted, whatever reason, even no reason, abortion up to 12 weeks? Ask them that question. And if they say no, then tell them they need to vote no. We need you involved. Normal people having normal conversations with other normal people, and we will certainly win this referendum. So thank you. Make sure you send your text message and volunteer. Great to have you.
Thank you so much, JP and team. Okay, our final speaker for today is a legal consultant to the LoveBoth campaign, also recently on the Late Late. Can you offer it up for Caroline Simons?
I'm delighted to see you all and delighted that you all waited, and I won't keep you long because I know my brother John is down there. He's saying it's hard to hear me at the back. Can you hear me at the back? A bit. Well, we'll do our best here. Okay. All over the country right now, you are not all here. I have a friend, Mary Murphy. She's canvassing right now in Bandon. People are canvassing in Waterford. They're in Kerry. They're in Donegal. They're canvassing right now. And you're here, but you're going to be canvassing tomorrow, isn't that right? Absolutely. Okay. I want to welcome everybody. The pro-life campaign and all the other pro-life groups, we have one goal and one goal only, and that is to protect in our laws all life, from conception to natural death, no exceptions. I want that to be clear. But I also want to welcome here today, I've been all over the country in the last 2 weeks, north, south, east and west. I have met lay people, I've met lawyers and doctors who have said to me, normally we wouldn't think we'd be with you because we think there are hard cases and we think maybe there should be exceptions. Now, I can tell you, I debated with Peter Boylan yesterday, no woman has died in this country because of the 8th Amendment. Not one. It has saved lives, and if anybody wants to ask me to discuss these things afterwards, I can. But I'll say this to you. To those of you who have come today, and I know that you're here, and you're worried and you think that there are exceptions, you're pro-choice, but you're not pro this choice. We welcome you because we will keep our 8th Amendment, and we will talk later with you, and you can talk to the government about different proposals. This proposal couldn't be more clear. This proposal to remove all protection from all unborn babies in our Constitution will result in abortion on demand. The legal experts on both sides of the campaign have said so. One of the legal advisors to the repeal campaign has said, we will have interim legislation on the way to light touch or almost no regulation at all if the 8th Amendment goes. That's why this is the goal, and that's why we're going to beat it. So, Simon Harris's proposal, he's given us some draft legislation. It's really not worth talking about, everybody. The Taoiseach told us there are no guarantees about the legislation. It can be amended. It won't look the same when it comes to be voted on. It is more frightening than England's abortion law, where 1 baby for every 4 born dies in abortion. This is not a lie, Dr. Boylan. For every 4 children born in England, 1 dies in abortion. The only medical procedure that is provided for in Minister Harris's legislation is the deliberate and intentional destruction of a baby in circumstances where there isn't a bit of evidence that it's ever necessary to save a woman's life or address a health issue in pregnancy. So none of us can afford to take the foot off the pedal in the next 2 weeks. There's far too much at stake. The work that you're all doing is absolutely brilliant, and thank you for all the sacrifices you're making. It is an honour for each and every one of us to play our part in this campaign. But to win And to keep the 8th, we have to go the extra mile. We have to put the word out to our friends and family, to the people we've been putting off talking to our friends who we know are pro-choice. We have to show them we are nice people. You are all my friends. We're the kind of people want to be friends with. We are not unreasonable. We are caring. We love each other, and we want to love women with unplanned pregnancies. Isn't that right? But the government is allowing abortion on demand in the first 12 weeks and on undefined health grounds up to viability, and most certainly in their legislation they anticipate abortion up to birth. Show us, Minister, you said that this bill was in effect a ban on late-term abortion. It isn't anywhere in your bill, Minister. Where does it say that? It doesn't. Let's be really, really clear about this. The only way to stop abortion becoming a reality is to vote no on the 25th of May. If you don't, then you give away the reins that you hold. Then you will make it impossible to restrict any law that will come in, because the courts will have no option but to regard your decision to remove all protection from babies as a license to politicians for unlimited abortion. We're being asked to trust politicians who can change their minds on this vital issue. The clear lesson from every other jurisdiction where abortion has been legalised is that once you give these powers to politicians or to the courts, it goes in one direction only, and that is to allow more abortion and to more deeply undermine the right to life. So, what's at stake on the 25th of May is the right to life itself. Let's not surrender our pro-life laws to a false notion of progress and support for women. If we do, we will find out when it's far too late what a wonderful, irreplaceable, unique and precious thing we have in this country, which is the value and respect we give to all life. Our Constitution doesn't distinguish between able and disabled people when they're born. We don't distinguish between disability and ability either when you're unborn, and we shouldn't start there. If we take away the protection of any sector of human life, then we diminish the value of all life. There's nothing else that is more true than that. The government didn't agree to shut down the Google ads for no reason. They haven't been tearing down our posters for no reason. They haven't been avoiding debating us and not letting us onto television and radio for no reason. Because they know that when the facts are out, we will win, we will save the 8th. So let's waste no time. Let's work around the clock and secure a historic win, a victory for pregnant women and their unborn babies, a victory for fairness and everything we hold dear, a victory for the very future of our beautiful country. Let us support each other and let us commit on the 26th of May, when we have won, to commit to help women in their unplanned and crisis pregnancies. So today my message to you and to everybody is thank you so much. Work harder, do more, talk more, and choose life that you and we may continue to have life. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Woo! Okay, we're coming to a close. But before we leave today, I want you to take a moment and look around you. Check each other out. Look how many of us there are here today. And imagine if we were all canvassing for the next 13 days. I was doing the math. There are tens of thousands of us here today. And if every person here were canvassing for the next 13 days, we would have tens of thousands more votes on May 25th. And we will win this referendum. And we need your help to do that. So please, send a text pro-life to 51444.